Welcome to Story Time. Tonight, we journey into the Rose Garden of Dreams, a peaceful place where roses bloom under the softest moonlight, and their sweet fragrance fills the air with calm. Let's step into this tranquil garden together, and as we wander among the roses, you'll feel your eyes grow heavy and your thoughts quiet, ready for a deep, restful sleep. In a quiet corner of the world, nestled at the edge of a sleepy village, lay a garden unlike any other. This garden was known as the Rose Garden of Dreams. Every night, just as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky began to fill with stars, the roses in this garden would bloom with a magical softness that seemed to calm everything around them. The garden was filled with roses of every shade imaginable, soft pinks, deep reds, golden yellows, and even delicate whites that shimmered like the moon itself. Their petals were velvety and smooth, and the air was always filled with their sweet, calming fragrance. A gentle path wound its way through the garden, leading visitors through arches of roses and under the shade of tall, graceful trees. One evening, just as the sky turned from gold to deep blue, a little boy named Oliver wandered into the rose garden. He had been exploring the fields near his home all day, chasing butterflies and watching the clouds float by, but now, as the day came to an end, he found himself drawn to the quiet beauty of the garden. As soon as he stepped inside, Oliver felt the air change. It was as if the very breeze that passed through the garden was carrying whispers of sleep, urging him to relax and let go of the day's adventures. The garden seemed to hum with a gentle, peaceful energy that made his eyelids feel heavy and his thoughts slow. Oliver walked slowly along the path, his small feet making no sound on the soft earth. The roses swayed gently in the breeze, their petals brushing against him like the softest touch. He paused in front of a tall, pale pink rose and breathed in deeply. The scent was so sweet and calming that it made him sigh with contentment. As he wandered further into the garden, Oliver came to a small clearing where a fountain bubbled softly in the center. The sound of the water was like a lullaby, its gentle rhythm lulling him into a deeper state of relaxation. Around the fountain, the roses grew in thick, beautiful clusters, their colors blending together in a dreamy haze. Oliver found a stone bench near the fountain and sat down. He leaned back, gazing up at the sky, where the first stars of the evening were beginning to twinkle. The garden was so peaceful, so quiet, that he felt as though he could stay there forever, just watching the stars and breathing in the scent of the roses. As he sat, the gentle sound of footsteps approached. Oliver looked up to see a woman walking toward him. She was dressed in a soft, flowing gown the color of the moonlight, and her hair was adorned with tiny roses that seemed to bloom just for her. Her face was kind and peaceful, and she smiled as she sat down beside him. "Welcome to the Rose Garden of Dreams," she said in a voice as soft as the wind. "This is a special place where all who enter can find peace and rest." Oliver smiled sleepily. "It's so beautiful here," he said, his voice already quiet with drowsiness. "I've never felt so calm." The woman nodded. "That is the magic of this garden. The roses here are not like ordinary flowers. They carry with them the gift of rest. Their petals are as soft as dreams, and their fragrance is as soothing as a lullaby. In this garden, you can let go of all your worries and drift off into the most peaceful sleep." Oliver yawned, feeling his eyes grow heavier with every passing moment. "Can you tell me a story?" he asked, leaning his head against the back of the bench. The woman smiled and nodded. "Of course," she said, her voice as gentle as the breeze. "Let me tell you the story of the very first rose that bloomed in this garden." And so, she began her tale. Many, many years ago, before this garden was filled with roses, there was only one small, lonely bush. It grew at the edge of the valley, overlooked by the tall trees and forgotten by the world. The bush had no flowers, only a few green leaves that rustled sadly in the wind. But one day, a soft rain began to fall, and the bush felt something change within it. As the rain kissed its leaves and the sun peeked out from behind the clouds, the bush felt a warmth it had never known before. And then, slowly but surely, a single bud began to form. The bud was small and delicate, but it was full of promise. Over the next few days, the bud grew, nourished by the rain and the gentle sunlight. And then, one evening, just as the sun was setting and the sky turned pink and gold, the bud opened, and the very first rose bloomed. Its petals were the softest shade of pink, and its fragrance was sweeter than anything the valley had ever known. The other plants and trees in the valley marveled at the beauty of the rose. Its petals shimmered in the fading light, and its sweet scent filled the air with calm. The animals that lived nearby came to rest beneath its branches, and soon, the rose became a symbol of peace and rest for all who visited. Oliver closed his eyes, picturing the beautiful rose blooming under the golden sunset. The woman's voice was so soft and soothing that it felt like a lullaby all on its own. And as the years passed, she continued, more and more roses began to bloom in the valley, until the entire garden was filled with their beauty. Each rose carried with it the same magic as the first, offering peace, calm, and rest to all who visited. And that is how the Rose Garden of Dreams came to be. Oliver felt himself drifting, his body sinking deeper into the soft warmth of the bench. The scent of the roses filled the air, wrapping around him like a soft blanket. He could hear the gentle rustle of the leaves, the bubbling of the fountain, and the soft hum of the evening breeze. Now, little one, the woman said softly, it is time for you to rest. The roses will watch over you, and their magic will carry you into the sweetest dreams. Oliver yawned again, his eyes fluttering closed. He could feel the peace of the garden settling over him like a soft cloud. The last thing he heard before drifting off to sleep was the gentle rustling of the roses in the breeze and the woman's soft voice saying, "Good night, little one. Sleep well." And with that, Oliver slipped into the most peaceful, restful sleep he had ever known. The garden, with its roses glowing softly in the moonlight, remained calm and quiet. The stars twinkled overhead, and the soft breeze continued to carry the scent of the roses through the air. All was peaceful, all was still, and the Rose Garden of Dreams watched over the sleeping boy as he drifted deeper into his dreams. That was the Rose Garden of Dreams. May the peaceful magic of the roses bring you a restful sleep filled with sweet dreams. Thank you for joining us tonight on Storytime. Sleep well and good night.